Hey, good morning, everybody. Welcome back to the channel. Um, yeah, I'm doing a live stream to take my mind off a lot of things. For those people who caught the video memorial this morning, thank you guys for the kind words. I really, really, really appreciate it. Um, sometimes you just got to get out of your head and, just try to focus on something else until your mind catches up with the realization of a lot of whatever's going on in the world today in your life. So I figured, you know what, like I would go ahead and go live. I would talk about the Pixel 5. I'm still using it. I'm going to talk about the Pixel 6, using that, the Celero 5G. So I figured I would just talk about those things, answer any other questions that haven't been asked before about either device. To go ahead and ask those questions and I'll answer them. But other than that, I mean, today's just it's a blase type day. But here in a little bit, I'm going to start talking about the Celero 5G. We'll kind of go into that and talk about that. So it'll be like the first focal point. Because it is a device that's centered around a lot of things. There are those people who they got a funny name for it. They call it a super budget phone. Well, it's slightly a step up above a budget phone, and I think that territory is called mid-range. I call it a mid-ranger because that's the way it performs. That's how I feel about it. Other people will have their perception on things, and you know what? Like, call it what you want. But for me, I call it a pretty solid mid-ranger. A pretty solid mid-ranger, and a great entry phone into Boost Mobile if you're interested in signing up with Boost Mobile. Of course, there's been some really cool videos dropped by Carlos S. Tech showing people that you could, in fact, get the AN SIM card, or the AT&T network SIM card. Basically, what he says, they call it the BTN SIM card. It's kind of weird. But you can get that SIM card and it will work inside the Celero 5G. Now, I've tried a couple of other things, and this phone is SIM locked. So I'm going to forewarn you guys right now, it is SIM locked. You could use a Boost AT&T SIM card with the Celero 5G and it'll work. Well, obviously it should, because it's a Boost Mobile SIM card. The problem with this is using anything else. Like if you were to put T-Mobile in, SIM locked. You put AT&T in, it's SIM locked. You put Google Fi in, which I tried to do, SIM locked. You have to have the SIM lock code to unlock it to accept other SIM cards. So it will work on other carriers if you can get it SIM unlocked. Now, of course, Boost unlock policy is still the same. It's still, 1 year of active service on the device, and then they will SIM unlock it, which pretty much is like, if anyone doesn't really understand why people get fed up with the Boost unlock policy, is because they want you to wait an entire year. What's up? What's up, Gadget Beard? They want you to wait an entire year before they will SIM unlock your Boost Mobile phone. The problem with that is that by the time a year comes, the phone will be like halfway to being in its obsolete form. Especially with a device like the Celero 5G, this will definitely be obsolete within a year's time. So, when you get it unlocked, you're already going to be moving on to another phone and upgrading. So it's like, yeah, they should have better unlock policies. Like Dish should really change up how Boost Mobile unlocks devices. I would say at maximum 90 days. 90 days, and then it'll be SIM unlocked. I think that's like the most that Boost Mobile should do. I think like Verizon does 60 days. T-Mobile, not T-Mobile, but Metro by T-Mobile does 6 months. So around that territory, I'd say 90 days would be nice for Boost customers, because if I can SIM unlock this in 90 days, that would be so cool. Be able to use it on whatever I wanted to use it on. Hey, what's up, Oscar? What's going on? The crazy thing about it is that there is settings for Google Fi on this phone. Like literally specifically says Google Fi. And I was like tripping out on it because, I looked in the Android Messages app, and then I went to settings in that, and went to advanced. And I don't care if people see the number on here because I'm not keeping this number, but Google Fi settings, like literally Google Fi settings, Open that up, and then it tells you sign into your Google Fi account. So it'll sync text, calls, and voicemail across screens, it says. So I don't know, maybe Dish is looking to partner up with Google Fi in the future. That's a possibility. Who knows? Like, who really knows? Yeah, people would just be weird. Honestly, like, there is something I am going to talk about here in a little bit, and that has to do with when you give up a phone number, but I'll get to that at the end. It's a pretty cool idea that I think carriers and such should be using. But in all, I'll still stand by it. The Celero is a pretty good mid-ranger, okay? Like, the only flaws that I see in this phone is cameras in low light. Cameras, like photos in low light, you're gonna have problems. Video, you're gonna have problems. It doesn't do well with low light. Like, you really need a lot of light in order for the photo to come out pretty good. And even sometimes, like with a selfie cam, when there's good enough lighting, sometimes the photo will come extremely blown out in the background. Like, I'll be in the shot, but like, say like my brick wall back here will be completely blown out. You won't even see the texture of the bricks or the wall itself. It's just that crazy. It just blows out like that. So that would be the downside to the Celero 5G is cameras, right? Everything else about it is pretty good. It's pretty good. Software performance, pretty good. Okay. I don't feel like I'm handicapped or held back when I'm using this compared to using any of my Pixels. Like, it's not as fast as my Pixels, but it's right up there with them, which, you know, tells you a lot. Now, some people could be smart asses and be like, well, it's because Pixels suck. Okay, whatever, go away. It just works pretty good. I have no problems at all for whatever reason. I mean, watching media, social media, stuff like that, you know, it's totally fine. Concerning asteroid will break into Earth's orbit in a week. That's a very scary title to see on your Google feed. Wow. Well, it looks like we're about to face Armageddon anyways. You know, the movie and such. The build quality of the Celero 5G, like I said in my review, I actually like it. I do like it has that squared off look with the chamfered edges on the front and back. So, you know, it feels pretty comfortable to hold in hand for long periods of time. Definitely would recommend the case. Now, they say this is glass. To me, it sounded a little hollow. And it could, you know, I thought it was plastic because of how hollow sounding it was. It's actually not. It is glass. So I would definitely recommend getting a case for it. Now, is the back Gorilla Glass? No, it's not. It's not Gorilla Glass. It's not any premium, you know, hard compressed glass that's going to be somewhat impact resistant. So if you drop the Celero 5G, I guarantee you will crack it easily. What's up, B-Tech Reviews? What's going on? So really, the things about it is just pretty solid. The battery life is pretty solid on it too. Some people are reporting getting, you know, different times in their batteries. I don't know. I guess that would speak directly to the person that uses the phone and just like, you know, how they use their phone. The Celero, for me, and the way that I use it, the battery lasts actually pretty good. And on standby time, where I had this on, I had it on my desk, but I didn't pick it up and use it. It's actually gone a couple of days on the single charge before I needed to charge it. I'll be honest with everybody, since I got the Celero 5G from Boost Mobile when it arrived and I started using it, I've only charged this phone a total of 4 times. 4 times I've charged it. I put it on the charger and charged it up. Just 4 times. So I'll tell you just like how good the battery is. But of course, I'm being honest with everybody, this is not my main daily driver device. So this is a device that I pick up when I got to charge up my Pixel 6, or, you know, if I just want to use a different network at a time, then I'll bust this out and use it. Of course, I really don't have to anymore because my Pixel 6 is on my Google Fi account. And yes, I did go back to Google Fi. I made a little video talking about going back to Google Fi, and I am back on Google Fi. 4 lines of service for $120. So that's me, my wife, and both my daughters. My older son, he has Visible. He likes it. He's going to stay on it. My younger son is on Total Wireless. He likes it. He doesn't even make phone calls or texts. He just uses it to play Roblox with his sister. So he's good. With it being, you know, limited metered data, basically kind of forces them to get off their phones at time because they don't want to be throttled to 128 kilobits per second. They know the struggle with being on that type of connection. Both my daughters know that. So now they know that they have a limited amount, which is 22 gigs of high-speed data before they're throttled. So, there's going to be days where they're not going to be on their phone, which is great for me. It's a win-win because I need them to get off their phones from time to time. Like, I know today's generation is all about, the digital world and stuff like that, but I don't want my kids to be immersed in that too heavily. Like, I understand they want to talk with family and friends on social media and stuff like that. That's fine. I monitor, I govern that, but I also want them to be able to do other things like be, artistic in drawing or playing with their Play-Doh or something, being creative, something that takes them away from computers, microcomputers, smartphones, tablets, etc., and gaming. So yeah, I'm back on Google Fi, and that's what I have on my Pixel 6 currently right now. So even then, I really don't have to use the Celero 5G because both of them are on the T-Mobile network, technically. Is there a big difference between them? Well, I'm still doing my research about data calculation on Google Fi versus data calculation on other MVNOs on T-Mobile, like Boost Mobile, Mint Mobile, even T-Mobile Prepaid and Metro by T-Mobile, to see how they calculate data usage. It's something that I think is pretty interesting. When I had Google Fi before, like a month ago, before I canceled that line, it was calculating a lot of data being used, and I was like, oh, and I wasn't even doing any speed tests. But then now that I'm back on Fi and I have 4 lines on a family plan, and I'm possibly going to add a 5th line if the total wireless line is a bust, then I'll add my young son onto Fi. He has a Moto G7 from Google Fi, so his phone is Fi capable. And then if my older son wants to join in, then I'll add him on. So technically, I can have 6 lines for $180 on Google Fi, and that's a simply unlimited plan. I don't have the unlimited plus. I can switch to that if I'm going to travel outside the country, but while I'm in the country, I'll be fine with just the regular, simply unlimited plan. I already have a subscription to Google One services, so I don't need to, have that included in my plan because we're paying actually for the 200 gig version, not the 100 gig version. So I have that access, and it's family shared. You can actually share it with family members, so we have the access to that. And then as far as like the Disney bundle and stuff like that I was getting from Verizon, I can go back to just paying that monthly subscription on the side. Because still, if I was to stay on Verizon and stay and try to add all these lines onto Verizon, oh my God, man, 2 lines, and I was looking at 211. And then with the other, charges and stuff like that, it came out to like 231. So it would have been 211 with paperless bill and auto pay. But that took those off. So then you add $10 for having, a papered bill, and then you have another $10 added on because you don't have auto pay on. So it's actually 231 just for 2 lines of service on Verizon. That's I didn't want to do that. As Jose told me, he was like, just stay on Google Fi. I'll be like, yeah, I'm just gonna stay on Google Fi. It makes sense to do that. I mean, if it's a single line, honestly, you're getting a deal if it's a single line on Verizon. If you do the plan that I did, which was Play More, and it was like $90. I think it was $90 or $100. But I mean, with all the things that you get, like the Apple Music, the Disney bundle, the Google Play Pass, there's a whole lot of stuff there. There was the Discovery Plus. You get like all these things given to you for being a Verizon customer. So it kind of like evens itself out on the amount that you pay. What's up, Mario? By the way, I didn't see your comment, but what's up, man? The downside to that is that when you start adding more lines on, there's not really savings. Like you can mix and match with Verizon, and that's great. That's good. Like that's one of the things that I liked. But when I added my wife on to my Verizon account, she wanted similar things that I had. So they found her a plan that was very similar to mine, but had different features than what mine did. And so then, hers was like, $80 with auto pay and paperless bill. And then mine was $80 with auto pay and paperless bill. But then you got to add in like all the taxes and stuff like that. So it came out to like 231. And then of course I added her on, and then of course proration, like I totally brain farted that. And I was just like, whoa, wait a minute, I'm going to have a high bill. Like after we created the thing, I was like, dang, I should have added you on at the beginning of my bill cycle, or like the day before the beginning of my bill cycle to avoid proration. But I stupidly didn't think about that until last minute when the deal was already done. And so like the proration was like pretty high. So like my next bill was gonna be like over $300. I was like, no, not during the holidays. I got things to get. Well, Santa has to get gifts for the kids. Santa loves the kids. Santa's got to get gifts for the kids, and yeah, there's just no way I could do that. I could pull it off. So her line ported out to Google Fi, which Google Fi does have a promo running right now that if you bring your own device and you port a number over, you get $100 in Fi credit. The stipulations of getting that credit is that you have to maintain 30 days of active service with Google Fi. After you pass the 30-day threshold, the $100 bill credit is applied to your Fi account. So, sorry, my youngest daughter, her line got ported over, and then of course my wife's line got ported over. So there's 2 ports. I ended up getting a new number, and my oldest daughter got a new number. So, yeah, so we're gonna get $200 in Fi credit. That's gonna help out towards the future bill, and just stay with Google Fi. I can handle it. Home Wi-Fi at home. Everyone should be fine on data. So it would just be okay. Plus, I have Los Mobile that I use for hotspot too. So I can always link up with that if I just want to use the Los Mobile hotspot instead of the Fi data at home, which is going to be a different place because we are gearing up to move again. Like we've been here almost a year in this apartment, so it's time for us to go. I don't want to renew another lease with the property management. So we are moving. We are moving here shortly. Yeah, most of that you would rather pay separate. Yeah. That makes sense too. It makes sense too. That's why I made the switch. But yeah, I am looking, to leave this place here soon. Plus, too, where I'm going to, the coverage is so much better. Thanksgiving, I did a speed test. If you guys saw it, and those speed tests is at the place that I'm moving to. Eric, what's going on, man? Yes, iPhones is compatible with Google Fi. As a matter of fact, when you buy a Google Fi SIM card, like say you go to Best Buy and you pick up a Fi SIM kit there, then it's got instructions to manually program the APNs into an iPhone, so that way it works. I don't know if they support eSIM on the iPhones yet, but yeah, it will work on there. And the cool thing is too, is that if you're interested in trying Google Fi and you're going to open up a solo line with Google Fi, if you go to Best Buy right now, selling a SIM kit for Google Fi, it costs $60 for the SIM kit, but you get a $90 bill credit if by getting the Simply Unlimited plan. So yeah, you can get $90 credit just for getting the SIM kit from Best Buy for Google Fi. So just keep a heads out on that. That's still active on Best Buy. I looked at it last night. It's still active on there. So definitely go check it out. But yes, Fi does work on iPhones. I've used them on iPhones. I think TK did a video showing people that Fi works on an iPhone, and he used it on his iPhone XR. So you can always check out his video if you want like video evidence. All right, so let's go on Pixel 6 right now. Let's go to my phone of the year. Anyways, this is just funny. Anyhow, so with the Pixel 6, in my time of using it, it's actually pretty good. And then now it's on Google Fi service, which Google Fi service runs on not only just T-Mobile, but US Cellular. The connection and stuff like that is just far better. So I think there's because of the partnership between T-Mobile and Google Fi is obviously going to work more solid on the Pixel 6. Like I had Verizon on here and it was good, but this phone doesn't have millimeter wave connection. There's no antennas for millimeter wave. And so literally I was just relying on Verizon's mid-band and low band. And with Google Fi, because it's using T-Mobile's network, the low band and mid band on Fi is a little bit more stronger in my city than Verizon is as far as like data connection. So I've done like some speed tests, and I have a speed test video that's going to come up to kind of show you guys. But on an average on Google Fi in here, actually, I'll just run a speed test right now for you guys while we're here. All right, let's do a speed test. There might be just a little bit of interference. So we're already hitting close to 70 to 100. In any other device, like the Verizon one, I'll bust out the Verizon line here in a second, and I'll show you guys at speed test. Now, some people will just be like 71.1. You know, those people that are very heavy into the 5G network and stuff like that will probably frown upon this. I really don't care. But this actually does pretty good, and especially for what I'm going to use a phone for, which is just basically like Facebook and YouTube and Twitter and stuff. I don't need insults on Twitter to download faster to tell me that, you know, I suck or something. So let's run Verizon. So we have Verizon in the Pixel 5. Okay. You might hear some distortion because of the Verizon signal. It tends to do that to the microphone here. All right, this is what I'm getting on Verizon. Okay, gonna compare that to what I got with Google Fi just now. If you want to actually, you know, compare speeds. And this is for me. When I do these speed tests and when I tell you guys what carrier I'm choosing to go with, it's not me trying to tell you guys to go to it. It's just me sharing with you guys my experience and what I chose to go to. And that is Verizon Wireless. 12.2 on the down, 1.9 on the up, which is still good. You can still Facebook and YouTube with that. Definitely can. But do you guys see the difference? You know, when it comes to carriers, a lot of people love to kind of bash another carrier. Sorry, I'm trying to put the Pixel 5 on the wireless charger. But people love to bash carriers left and right? Because they have a personal vendetta against them. Maybe they didn't provide them the best service in the area that they were at. Maybe they have an outstanding bill that they don't want to pay, and you know, they don't see eye to eye with the carrier. Like whatever it may be, you know, these carriers are going to work different in different areas. You know, like in Florida, according to Ricky, in Florida, AT&T is solid out there. That's great. AT&T is pretty decent out here, but T-Mobile still takes it above the top. In the last 3 months, or the last 90 days, T-Mobile has made far great advancements in this city that I've seen. So much. And I'm thinking it has a lot to do with some of the people switching over to Verizon or switching to AT&T. That obviously that helps alleviate, you know, the data traffic on the network. But they've made some advancements. As a matter of fact, I've lived in this apartment for almost a year. I want to say about 7 months ago. Oh, 7 months ago. From the time that I moved in here, for the first 7 months I lived here, there hasn't been a tower with N71. So we're like almost to a year. So like 4 months. 4 months ago, they must have built a tower a block away from me, because now when I look on Cell Mapper and I look on Open Signal, there is a tower that's in between the other tower that I used to consistently connect to on a daily with T-Mobile. Now there's one in between that one, much closer to where I live, and it's outputting signal N71, which is their 600 megahertz signal. That is, you know, T-Mobile's. It's supposed to couple with N41 to, you know, create what they call their ultra capacity, which is basically like, you know, decent mid-band, right? Close to mid-band, just about. Mid-band usually falls between 3.4 gigahertz to 3.9 gigahertz, so it's still considered low band. 2.5 gigahertz is the N41, 600 megahertz is the N71. So it's pretty much their low band. They call it their ultra capacity. Then they also call it their mid band. Okay, someone at T-Mobile needs to be fired, but it's still pretty good for what I need out of it, what I do out of it. And yes, I've uploaded video to YouTube from it. It does very good on the upload, so I can't complain. You haven't been on T-Mobile's network for a while? You can always test it out with like a T-Mobile prepaid. You do T-Mobile prepaid and you'll kind of get an idea of what to expect. I mean, the difference between prepaid and postpaid priority access is not a gigantic leap and bound. You know, it's like, you know, prepaid here, postpaid here, business accounts up here. Like all the business accounts are up here. Postpaids are all right here. Prepaid and MVNO right here. I mean, that's how they do it. So anyways, back to the Pixel 6. So yeah, the battery is not like, if you have expectations that the battery is supposed to be like this massive giant battery with battery saver like the Pixel 5a. It's not near that. The battery life on this is good. Don't get me wrong. But if you're a person that absolutely demands 2 days of battery life before charging, don't get the Pixel 6 because it won't go 2 days on a single charge. I get a decent amount of screen on time. Like I can be at 30% with a screen on time of 11 hours, and it telling me that I have about 9 hours left of battery life. That is the Pixel 6. So battery performance is okay, but it's not, especially when you start watching videos or if you start watching movies on your phone. Well, then yeah, if you're consuming that much, media, then yeah, you can kill the battery pretty quickly. Gaming, it's okay. Light gaming, it's fine. Heavy gaming, like if you're playing Call of Duty, if you're playing, any of those graphic intense games and stuff, it's going to kill the battery pretty quickly. So no, would I recommend this as a gaming device? No, unless you're doing light games like Candy Crush, Pokemon Go, or the newest game on the market that's becoming a sensation, the Pikmin game on Android and iOS. If you're playing that game, it's not like Pokemon Go, the Harry Potter game before it was discontinued, and now the Pikmin game that's out from Niantic. All those three games, the thing that they had in common is that they really they weren't very CPU hungry or GPU hungry. So therefore, they didn't really sap a lot of battery. You can play for as long as you wanted to, but it doesn't, it didn't kill the battery as quickly as like if you were to play Dead by Daylight or Call of Duty or whatever else games they have there, Fortnite, PUBG. If you were to play those games, that would kill the battery pretty quickly. I'm sorry, I changed the subject. No, you don't have to apologize for anything, man. I'm just doing this to take my mind off of things. You know what I mean? And Mike, if you're still here, thank you so much for the kind words that you shared on social media about. Yeah, it was tough. It was tough. I don't want to think about it because I don't want to get back into that mode. I'm trying to stay positive and upbeat. But anyways, so the gripe that I have with the Pixel 6 right now is speakerphone. Speakerphone on my unit is pretty quiet. I want it to be louder. I don't know why. Like when I have it on speakerphone, it still sounds like that the audio is coming from up here, but it's actually coming from the bottom firing speaker, and it's not that loud. Like my Pixel 5, its speakerphone's loud. My Celero, its speakerphone's loud. The Pixel 2 XL, its speakerphone's loud. The Pixel 6, it's muffled. Why? I don't know. So, is it a big hindrance to me? No, because mostly when I'm on phone calls, I like to keep my phone calls private. So I do the normal, put this to your ear and listen through. I don't really use speakerphone all that much. If I need hands-free, I have my Pixel Buds. Like not these. These aren't Pixel Buds, but like, you know what I mean, the reference to the in-ear Bluetooth wireless. Yeah. I have those, and I can do hands-free and keep the phone in my pocket, so it still works out great. What's up, Blaze? What's going on, man? Late, but always great. No, you're just always great. Maybe what's up, man? Happy hump day to you too as well. Yeah, I needed to stream to take my mind off things. So, yeah. So at the end of the day, there's a lot of videos going out about the Pixel 6, and some people are finding them to be disingenuous. Like, look, let me just tell people just straight out how it is. Okay, if you're looking at a Pixel 6 because you want something that's like an iPhone, but you want it on Android, then you're mistaken. Don't buy you a Pixel 6. If you're looking at a Pixel 6 or a 6 Pro because you kind of want to move away from Samsung, but you want the same exact things that you're getting from Samsung, don't get a Pixel 6 or 6 Pro. If you want to try a Google phone, solid Google phone, well, then I would say option the Pixel 6. The Pixel 6 cannot be an iPhone. It cannot be a Samsung Galaxy device. It cannot replace the Galaxy Note. Like, that's some of the things that I see that's kind of really freaking annoying on just, different social platforms. It's like you watch other people's coverage of the Pixel 6 and you give them that view because you want to be able to support them. You know what I mean? So I watch a lot of people's coverage now on the Pixel 6. Now that I have my own and been doing my own coverage, now I watch other people's and give them the view and stuff like that. And I see people in the comments and they're like, oh yeah, you know what? Like I switched from a Galaxy S21 Ultra because I wanted to see, just how great the Pixel 6 is. And it doesn't give me the same feeling as my Galaxy S21 Ultra. Well, no shit. It's not going to give you the exact same thing because it's not a Galaxy S21 Ultra. Like, obviously, that's the crazy thing about it. Like, oh my God, like you really expected it to be just like your Galaxy S21 Ultra? Like, you just wasted time, precious time of your life to go and switch phones to something that you hoped would act like something that you already had. Or some of those other is like, oh yeah, I've been a long time Apple user, and I switched over and bought me a Pixel 6, and it's nothing like my iPhone. It doesn't have the same camera module like my iPhone. Like, really, dude? Did you even actually look at the event? Did you even see like all the leaked information that's been handed out everywhere? Like, the camera module doesn't look like an iPhone. I think the rest of the world knew that like 6-7 freaking months ago. Where the hell were you? You gotta lay off that stuff, man. Get your eyes all down and stuff, and all heavy red eye Jedi type action right there. Now I tell you, man, some people are just nuts. The Pixel can only be good at being a Pixel, and the Pixel 6 brings a new identity to the Pixel lineup, something very different. On key, giving you flagship at $599 for an unlocked model, sub 6 version only. You want the millimeter wave? Spend $100 for a different modem that accesses millimeter wave, and then you're good. $699. And that's what it's good at, And while it's not an iPhone, it is not like the S21 Ultra or as powerful as the S21 Ultra or like the iPhone in any way. Let me just say this: it's $599. Okay, you look at the Galaxy S21 Ultra, you're paying about $1,000. You look at the iPhone 13s Pros, you're paying about $1,000. So I'm paying half that price. Why would I expect it to be exactly and identical to the iPhone 13 Pro as far as build, or the Galaxy S21 Ultra as far as performance to that level? Why would I expect that at a $599 price tag? Okay, that's about $500 cheaper than the Galaxy S21 Ultra. Now, I'm not downplaying or saying some sort of admittance that the Pixel 6 Tensor chip is weak. It is not weak at all. I saw Carlos's video. Shout out to Carlos S Tech. I saw his video, his YouTube shorts, where he was frustrated because his Pixel, I think it was Pixel 6 Pro or his Pixel 6, one of the two, that device did not render a video as quickly as he wanted it to. It was at the 15-minute mark and it was still rendering the video. And I was like, oh wow, that's interesting. Like, why the hell did it take that long? And he said it was a 4-minute video. So I rendered a 4-minute video. Now I didn't do it in 4K, and I said that in the video for some people who didn't catch that part. I said I'm rendering this video in 1080p because I want to see how long it takes to render a 1080p video. 4K is going to take a little bit longer than that. I'm pretty much good at guesstimating the timing, right? So I did the video render. I rendered a 4-minute 8-second video in 1080p, 30 frames per second, and it took 5 minutes and 23 seconds for it to render that video from beginning to end. If I was to do it in 4K 30, it would take me about 12 minutes. If I was to do it in 4K 60 frame, it would probably take me about 15 minutes. So he probably was rendering a video in 4K 4K 60 frames, and if he was, that's the reason it took that long. You're talking about rendering a video that's going to be like each second of it just about is going to be about a gig in size. So that's crazy. I know that there's phones that can do that. The Tensor chip, though, is no lightweight. I'll tell people that at the end of the day, it's no lightweight. And you're talking about basic stuff like rendering video. Okay, then you have grounds there to be upset with it. Throw the phone in the trash if you want to. Like, it's your prerogative. Do what you want to do, right? But to sit there and say that it's not powerful, that's really an understatement. To be quite honest with everybody, what it can do, the thing that's able to do, and what it was designed to do, and it's doing it very well, right? Being able to do all those things with the still photography, like the magic eraser and stuff like that, I don't think anyone really has an idea of like what it takes for a chip to process that and execute that type of command. And then you're talking about in real live transcribed, like language transcription, right then and there. Like, come on now. I want a Pixel 6, but it's going to be hard to take my STEM out of the Z Flip 3. I like my Z Flip 3. Yeah. I mean, you know what? You can always have one. If you still want to get one, you can always have one just to have one. You know, and one day you might just feel like using the Pixel, so you just grab your SIM and pop it in the Pixel 6 and then go out for the day. When you have options, you know, you can always play around with it. I mean, we have options when it comes to clothing. Like you have options to choose the shirt you feel like wearing at work today. You have the option of choosing what type of shoe you feel like stepping outside with. You know what I mean? So you can always have a Pixel 6 as an option for something different, of a different experience when you're going out for the day. That's totally up to you, man. But don't get it if you're thinking that it's going to replace something, because then that you're only going to set yourself up for disappointment. But the Pixel 6 is a very, very, very badass phone. In my opinion, it always will be. Finally, the Pixel 5. Pixel 5 is still solid, and you know, I've dropped a couple of videos, you know, outlining just the very interesting facts from MKBHD when he openly said that in dialogues he had with Google, initially the Pixel 5 was supposed to have the Tensor chip. That was supposed to be the phone that they launched it with. However, you know, because of the pandemic and everything, they just decided, you know, let's just throw a 765G in the Pixel 5 and we'll just wait until next year and put the Tensor chip in the Pixel 6. And they did. They have been developing the Tensor chip for a while. I think people kind of like, they forget that, because as soon as you hear that Samsung has a hand in developing the Tensor chip, everyone automatically assumes it's a hand-me-down Exynos chip. It's not a hand-me-down Exynos chip. Google's been working on Tensor for a long time, and Samsung agreed to build Tensor, and that's the relationship between the two. But then you have to, like, well, not have to, but you see it like this, okay? There's already a second Tensor chip in the making. They're already working on it. What was the? It's called Project Cloud Killer. Now, right now, a lot of the stuff, like a lot of the AI assisted stuff on the Pixel phones is cloud-based, right? It's information from the cloud downloaded to the phone. The Tensor chip is supposed to kind of like mitigate that. It's supposed to be all the information on the chip itself. So there's really no need to have to rely on cloud. And I guess that's why the Tensor 2 is codenamed Project Cloud Killer. Such a very evil, methodical name from Google. So, yeah, Tensor is not exactly brand new. It's brand new on the Pixel 6, should have been on the Pixel 5, and there was a second variation coming next year. And it's, you know, it's at a good time too, because Google is looking to get rid of all its back stock of the Tensor chip, right? Now, I would think it would be pretty cool if they did something like what Apple did here. You know how Apple did the iPhone SE, which was like taking a throwback model and putting newer hardware inside of the throwback design. I think they could do a Pixel 5 throwback. You know, I know it's only been a year, but they could literally take whatever leftover parts they have of the Pixel 5 and develop those and throw the Tensor chip instead of the 765G. And then call it the Pixel Tensor and release that to the public. That would be so dope to see a Pixel 5 body style. Everything about the Pixel 5, except the top speaker. Like, don't put that under the display. Make a small spot for the sound to come out of Google. Like, don't do the same in-display speaker, because that's going to suck. And don't do the in-display fingerprint sensor. Keep this fingerprint sensor on the back of this. But the Pixel Tensor, in my opinion, should have everything of the Pixel 5 except for the processing chip. Throw the I would do is throw the Tensor chip in, switch up the modem, and use the Snapdragon X60 modem in it. And yeah, then we should be good. We should definitely be good. Yeah, I still have all my Pixels from the Pixel 1 all the way up to the Pixel 5. The only two that I'm missing out of my collection is the 4A 5G and the 5A, which I'll eventually get. But when the Pixel 6A comes out, I'm also going to buy that too. And the Pixel 6A is going to look just like this. It's going to look like the Pixel 6, but a bit smaller because the display size of it is 6.2 inches. We're already getting leaked info about the Pixel 6A. And the other cool thing about it is that it's going to have the Tensor chip. So all the cool little neat features we got with the Pixel 6, like the Magic Eraser, the in real time live transcribe, language transcription, all that stuff is going to be in the Pixel 6A. So The only thing we don't know is we don't know what body material they're going to use for the body. But we do know the design is going to have that camera visor, aka Alpha 5 from Power Rangers, aka Geordi LaForge from Star Trek, whatever else funny stuff people come up with for the camera bar on the Pixel 6. The 6a is going to have that same design. It's going to be a little bit smaller. So yes, in fact, I am going to pick one up. I am going to pick one up when it releases and do the same thing, unbox and all that stuff. The only thing that I pray is that they don't get rid of the headphone jack. That's one thing I don't want them to get rid of. So, with that being said, are you guys interested in getting a Pixel 6 now? Or will you hold off for the Pixel 6a? Now that's the question. Because the A series is going to be around. Some people feel like that the Pixel 6 kind of undercutted the A series and that it's going to disappear. No, it's not. It's not going to disappear. The 6a definitely going to be around. The 7a, I would expect the 7a. It's going to have subtle features, some very similar to the 6 and the 6 Pro. Yeah, and you know, again, I said in the video when I was talking about the Pixel 6a, the video I dropped about it, and then there were some people who just weren't really happy with when I said that the way that I feel like they're going to save money on the Pixel 6a and not make it a, you know, $500 phone, but to keep it right around $450 or $400 is they do the same Pixel 6 and 6 Pro body design. Do that. Well, more of the Pixel 6. Don't do the rounded corner, the rounded edge displays. Keep it a flat display. I would say, and I'd said in that video that for the camera sensors, instead of using the Samsung GN1 or GN01, that if they use the same camera sensor that they've been using for years in Pixels since the Pixel 3, which is the IMX363 12.2 megapixel main shooter, use that camera sensor. Use the IMX, what was it, 386, I think it was, as the ultra wide sensor, and then the IMX 355 as the selfie. That will keep the price low. If you try to throw in a 50 megapixel Samsung GN01 sensor, you're looking at raising the price to being about $500, which some people may not even complain about, because $499 for the Pixel 6a, $599 for the Pixel 6 unlocked, $699 for the Pixel 6 millimeter wave access version, and then $899 for the Pixel 6 Pro, and $999 for the the higher storage variant, going as high up. Yeah, so I mean, the possibilities there. The possibilities pretty much just kind of like lay it out. That really wouldn't be bad pricing, but it would still be awesome if it released at $450 like the Pixel 5a did. And that's not even a big problem. Which, by the way, on Google Fi right now, a Pixel 5a is going for $349. You save $100 if you go and sign up for Google Fi and you buy the Pixel 5a. So if you've been waiting to kind of hold off on the Pixel 5a, now's the time to do it. And cool thing about Google Fi is that Google Fi phones are unlocked. So even if you were to sign up for, like, say, like their Flex plan and pay $20 for unlimited talk and text and then $10 per gig, right? You can still throw your Verizon SIM in the Pixel 5a or throw your T-Mobile SIM in there or your AT&T SIM, and it's going to work. It's not locked to the carrier. So Google Fi phones are unlocked. So that is a way of getting it for cheap instead of going through different routes. If that option seems the cheapest, you can go for that. You definitely don't have to activate on Fi to get the phone. The phone will get shipped to you. You get it. And you can choose to activate Fi or not. You can keep the Fi SIM on the side and use it for like international use when you travel overseas, and just pop your regular carrier SIM card into the 5a, and boom, you're good. But like through Google Fi, it's on sale right now for $349.99. Anyways, ladies and gentlemen, that's pretty much it for the live stream. Yeah, this week has just not been a very good week, and I'll probably talk about it. See, I'm off work next Tuesday, so I'll probably do a live stream again, talk about it then. Yeah, I think I still have bereavement tomorrow. Well, I might just go live tomorrow. We'll figure all this stuff out. Anyways, thanks to everyone who's been really nice and said some kind words. I really appreciate you guys. I'm gonna jam out of here. I'm gonna retitle this because of the things that we talked about. Other people might be interested in those subjects like the Google Fi deals and all that other stuff, the Pixel 6a. So I'll just retitle the live stream after I end it here. But all right, Coffee, take it easy, man. See you later. Everyone, I'll see y'all later. Thank you so much. If you haven't checked out the memorial that I made for Jen, please do. It's really cool. And you know what? Like, shoot, we lost her. She was young. She was only 35 years old. You know, so it sucks when you lose somebody close to you, and you know, it really wasn't their time, and the circumstances surrounding the whole thing wasn't good at all. But yeah, I appreciate those who watched it, those who checked it out, those who had very kind words to say. I appreciate you guys. I'll see y'all later. Take it easy. Y'all be